Hey there, toy collector friends and Transformers fans alike. Welcome back to the channel. I'm the Triple TC, that's the time travelling toy collector, and today we are looking at Transformers Studio Series 86 Constructicon Bonecrusher. And here he is. He's a deluxe class, which it should tell us on the side there. Well, it doesn't. It tells us this side maybe. Yeah, there you go, deluxe class. He's in the new packaging, so Transformers Studio Series. No longer says Studio Series 86, but it technically is because it's representing Transformers the movie, hence him appearing in the playlist as Transformers 8634 because he is the next release. So I'm keeping on numbering them because that's just me. Lovely artwork of Bonecrusher here on the side in both modes. This side there's just a continuation of that artwork with the Autobot symbol, and here we have the familiar artwork of Devastator getting all devastatory and grumpy. We can also see here that it says 2 of 6, which is a correction from the last box, which was Scrapper, which said 1 of 5. He is 1, but he wasn't a 5. There are 6 Constructicons to collect to make Devastator, so they've corrected that, but brilliantly. On the reverse of the packaging, I'll bring it in a bit closer, they've managed to spell his name wrong. So Bonecrusher. Does make you wonder what goes on sometimes, doesn't it? Bonecrusher battles the Autobots, lowercase a, that's annoying, in Autobot City, capital A, so can't even be consistent. And I would actually have City as a capital C as well, on Earth. And Earth being the planet's proper noun should also be a capital E. It's not gravel beneath our feet, it is Earth, the planet Earth. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4 errors in one sentence. One sentence. Anyway, never mind about that. We're not here for the words on the box. We're here for what's in the box. And this is looking great. This is looking great. So I had some generally positive, but with a couple of well-known issues with Scrapper. Let's see whether or not those issues repeat themselves with Bonecrusher or not when I get him out of the box. And here we have Bonecrusher, all freshly minted and out of the box. And I have to say straight away, he is a very chunky but not too chunky figure. The only thing I needed to do was to unwrap his little handheld blaster here, and also this block also comes separately packaged, so I had to just slide that onto the connector here and pop back his canopy, and Bonecrusher is ready to go. Now, as you can see already from this, I'm going to bring him in slightly closer so you can take a look at his head sculpt. There's not a lot of maneuverability. Now, a theme that we picked up with his teammate Scrapper was that articulation wasn't the best for a Voyager. Now, Bonecrusher here is a deluxe, so there's even less scope for engineering. And initial looks at this sort of suggest that that's accurate. I do think his head sculpt is really good. It looks really accurate, so I'm happy with that. I love the detailing on the chest unit there. The hands are pulled out in purple. Again, they're folded into the mold, so they're not separate, they're not articulated, they're just sort of concealed within there. There's more detailing around the side of the body as we come down. There are the legs with the toesies there at the bottom. Everything's filled in, that's very nice. He's got the concealed knee joints there, which work really well. We've got ball jointed hips. We've got mushroom peg thighs and ball jointed shoulders and ball jointed elbows. So that the figure overall is a combination, as you can see. I'll pull back slightly so you can see all of it, of ball joints and mushroom pegs, which pretty much is a lot of figures. So I'm not going to get worked up about that. I've mentioned about the wrists, or the lack of mobility in the wrists. We have another figure that doesn't really have viable waist articulation unless you move this out of the way, and then you have some there. So he does have waist articulation. That just precludes it. So I suppose with some clever angling you could get away with it, but it does require you to slightly disassemble the front, which I think is not what you want to be doing really with a deluxe class figure. So again, waist articulation is a bit of an issue. There's no hand articulation at all. Head articulation is minimal, but it's there. The negatives, there you go, that's them out of the way. Bar one, and that is the absence of wheels. Now, this has been mentioned a few times, and this one I do think is a curious problem, because whilst we could roll Scrapper, we can't really roll Bonecrusher. He has no means of moving. He doesn't have anything to work with. So from a posability point of view, when he's in vehicle mode, I know we're not there yet, but I'm just sort of saving time. That's going to prove to be a problem. That's an issue right there, because you can just plonk him. He's going to be a little green brick. Now, as you probably are aware, if you're familiar with the channel, I grew up with little bricks. Little brown brick? I meant little green brick. Don't know what I said there. That's worrying. But I grew up with little bricks, whether they're green bricks or red and gold bricks or whatever colour bricks they were. They were mostly bricks. So a lot of it I had to do with my imagination. And there's enough here for me to be able to go, I can work with this. I can do photography with this. And again, he's one of a team. And every team has someone that looks a bit like this. You know, they do. Oops, I've just popped his head. Everything's so, yes. Yeah, so his head, he can look down. So I've just discovered he's got more head mobility than I realised. Although I gave myself a heart attack when I did it. But he can look down, and I think he's got a great. I think it's a characterful face. I think the body talks to his personality. If you've seen the G1 version, again, there is a lot of similarity here. In terms of the actual G1 toy, again, this is, if you like, a merging of two worlds. This is the G1 toy if it had the articulation of the 1986 movie. And in order to accomplish that without it becoming some sort of mega masterpiece type, I think they've done it. I think as the figure, it works. Let's put him just temporarily so we get a sense with his teammate. So there's Scrapper. So we have Scrapper and Bonecrusher reunited. To me, they are pretty much the same in terms of height and size. So quite how we're classifying Scrapper as a Voyager and poor Bonecrusher here is just a deluxe, I don't know. They strike me as being somewhat similar in build and height. It might be that the articulation and engineering of Bonecrusher is going to prove to be a little less complex. I can live with that as well. So I'm going to now transform him into his alt mode, whilst we just take one more look at that surface detailing, which is all very good. He's a green transforming Constructicon. It kind of ticks all the boxes that you would expect for this. It's a shame about the waist. It's a shame about the wrists. The wrists I can kind of live with. At least they're painted in purple, so we can see the distinction between where they are in the arm. So I can live with that. But let's see what he's like in his alt mode. Whilst I take him off screen to use the magic of YouTube to transform him, please, if you're enjoying what you're watching, drop a like. If you're feeling sympathetic because you're not enjoying what you're watching, drop a like. And if you're happy and you know it, drop a like. That'd be all fantastic stuff. Similarly, if you do fancy seeing more Transformers stuff, and indeed Star Trek, Star Wars, Doctor Who, Battlestar Galactica, G.I. Joe, who knows what could be on the channel, there's all manner of things, then why not drop an absolutely, completely obligation-free subscription to the channel and see what you might find coming in the future, which will, of course, include the rest of these Studio Series Constructicons, which I'm already very excited about. Anyway, if you do or you don't, that's entirely up to you, and you're welcome here either way. So let me transform him up before we all fall asleep. And oh, too late. And I'll see you back here in a split second of time. And in the blink of an eye, we have Bonecrusher all transformed into his phenomenal, what would you call it? Digger? Shoveler? I don't know what you call it. But you know what? It looks like what it is, and I'll take that. Again, the disappointment is that it doesn't roll, so it is just, you're right, if you are going to try and perambulate it, it is going to start to scratch. And you don't really want it to be doing that. There is some great surface detailing around the edges. I think some lovely exposed engine work there, some pipe work. Within the tracks, there's some lovely engineering work. Not so much around the back, but it's, you know, it's a deluxe. Let's go with that. And you can see that the design is very much what you'd expect to see. There isn't much articulation. We can articulate this. You can detach that and get a bit more articulation out of it, but I wouldn't bother necessarily. The gun can be stored here. This is where they recommend it. You don't have to have it stored at all. It could also be stored here. Could it? Nope, not there. I thought it could be stored there. I'm a liar. I thought there was somewhere else it could be stored. Guess not. So that technically then is the only place you can store it, which is a shame. I'm not going to put it back in there for now because it's in disguise, and when you're in disguise you don't have a gun sitting on top of you in my experience anyway. So there is some silver detailing in the treads. There's not an awful lot of purple detailing. We do have a Decepticon logo on display, which I don't remember us having with Scrapper. Certainly there wasn't one in the bin, in the tray bin thing that he has. The bucket, whatever you want to call it. But at least we have one with Bonecrusher here. So, again, evocative of the G1 figure, and certainly evocative of the 1989 cartoon movie. Does it float your boat? Well, it floats mine. I mean, it's kind of amusing that it is taking the form of, it's a bit like a green brick, because it's sort of, it oozes G1 in that respect. But it does have some really good engineering overall. There's a little bit of jiggery-pokery getting the arms to sort of scooch in to where you want them to be, and some of the tabbing to stay in tight is not quite doing it, as you can see there. But again, from the right angle, you would never know, and it certainly holds together well, so there's no issue with that. So for me, I wouldn't say it's a marked improvement over the likes of Scrapper. I think they're on a par. But it's nothing I can't live with as a figure. So on a personal basis, I'm not thrilled and delighted with the first offering for the Studio Series Constructicons, but equally I'm not super disappointed. I must admit, when I first saw some people reviewing these and looking at these when they got them in hand, sort of early editions, however they got them, I was a bit like, oh, this isn't looking good. I think this is going to really, really upset me, because I honestly was really looking forward to the Constructicons. I really wanted that cartoon-esque vibe that was kind of there with the Unite Warriors. And if you've not seen my video on the Unite Warriors, have a look in my playlist for the Deconstructing Devastator. You'll see it in there, because they kind of erred towards the cartoon vibe. So yeah, I don't think I'm disappointed. I don't feel that I'm disappointed. I think I'm actually relieved that they're slightly better than the picture certain people were painting of them in their videos. Are they going to change the world and blow my mind? They are not. Can I get over the limitations of these figures? I can. Because again, as I've mentioned before, and many of us probably have, we grew up with it doing a lot less. With it doing a lot less than it does now, and looking a lot less good. So I can accept the failings for the benefit of the greater good. And again, the greater good does include a Studio Series 86 Devastator at the end of this particular journey. So I'm very much looking forward to collecting all 6 of the component parts and seeing how that comes together in the end game. So for now, This is, and has been, Studio Series 86, and in my mind, that's number 34, Bonecrusher. You've been a fantastic audience. Thank you for sticking with me for the last 15-20 minutes or so. And I've been the Triple TC, that is the time-travelling toy collector. It just remains for me to say that I very much hope to see you around the channel, checking things out, and that a thing of beauty really is a toy forever. Take care. Bye-bye for now.